The fall of the Aztec Empire, the conquest of Tenochtitlan. History is filled with stories that have reshaped the world, but few are as dramatic and transformative as the fall of the Aztec Empire. Today, we'll take you back to the early 1500s to explore how Hernán Cortés and his Spanish conquistadors brought one of Mesoamerica's greatest civilizations to its knees. Through alliances, advanced weaponry, and the accidental introduction of deadly diseases, this incredible tale of conquest, resistance, and cultural transformation unfolds. Let us begin by stepping into the bustling heart of the Aztec Empire, Tenochtitlan. Imagine a sprawling city of towering temples, intricate canals, and floating gardens that seem to defy nature. A vibrant economy thrived in its marketplaces, with traders exchanging goods like cacao, textiles, and obsidian blades. At the center of Aztec life stood its social, political, and religious structures. The emperor, or Tlatoani, ruled as both a political leader and a divine figure, with Moctezuma Siku holding power during the empire's final days. Religion played an integral role, as the Aztec people believed in appeasing their gods through ceremonies and offerings, including human sacrifice. But beneath this seemingly invincible empire lay a fault line. Neighboring city-states, subjugated by the Aztec tribute system, resented their rulers and sought opportunities to challenge their dominance. Little did they know, events far across the ocean would soon bring such an opportunity to their doorstep. As the Aztecs thrived, the Spanish were embarking on their age of exploration, driven by greed, glory, and missionary zeal. Hernán Cortés, a bold and ambitious conquistador, arrived on the shores of the Gulf of Mexico in 1519 with a force of just over 500 men, 16 horses, and a handful of cannons. This small group would seem insignificant against an empire of millions. But Cortés was no ordinary figure. Determined to leave a legacy of conquest, he defied his superiors back in Cuba to pursue one audacious goal: the conquest of the Aztec Empire. The Spanish encountered various indigenous groups along their journey, including the Totonacs and the Tlaxcalans. Crucially, Cortés relied on the help of Malintzin, also known as Doña Marina, a Nahua noblewoman who served as his interpreter, advisor, and cultural mediator. Her linguistic skills and diplomatic acumen would prove invaluable, allowing the Spanish to navigate Aztec political and social complexities. Although Cortés's forces were few, he excelled at exploiting local divisions. The Aztecs had spent decades expanding their influence, forcing subject cities to pay heavy tributes and offer captives for sacrifice. Resentment ran deep. Cortés recognized an opportunity to turn this dissatisfaction into alliances. Most notably, he formed a partnership with the Tlaxcalans, fierce rivals of the Aztecs. The Tlaxcalans contributed thousands of warriors to Cortés's ranks, leveling the playing field against the powerful Aztec military. These alliances became the Spaniards' secret weapon, harnessing the strength of indigenous forces to destabilize the Aztec Empire from within. As the Spanish advanced toward Tenochtitlan, a profound cultural collision began to unfold. For the Aztecs, the Spanish were unlike anything they had ever seen. Strange men with pale skin, metal armor, and firearms that roared like thunder. Their horses, which the Mexica had never encountered, seemed almost otherworldly. Some historians suggest that the Aztec leader, Moctezuma II, may have believed the Spaniards were connected to their god Quetzalcoatl due to their timing and appearance. This belief remains debated, but it underscores how deeply miscommunication and cultural differences shaped the early encounters. Likewise, the Spanish viewed the Aztecs as both awe-inspiring and barbaric. Tenochtitlan's grandeur left them amazed, but Aztec religious practices, particularly human sacrifice, fueled their conviction that they were on a divine mission to civilize the New World. Cortés and his growing army moved steadily toward Tenochtitlan, facing resistance and negotiating alliances along the way. When they arrived at the gates of the city, its magnificence stunned even the battle-hardened Spaniards. Built on an island in the middle of Lake Texcoco, the city was connected to the mainland by 3 causeways, with gleaming temples and bustling canals showcasing its wealth and ingenuity. Moctezuma Secou welcomed the Spaniards into the city with a mix of diplomacy and hesitation. Historical accounts disagree on why. Some argue he sought to appease the strangers, while others believe he sought to learn more about their intentions. Regardless, the Spaniards' presence in the heart of the empire set the stage for an inevitable conflict. The fragile relationship between the Aztecs and the Spanish fractured irreparably during the Spaniards' stay in Tenochtitlan. Tensions reached a breaking point when the Spanish interrupted a key religious ceremony, killing hundreds of Aztec nobles and priests. The act horrified the population, leading to an uprising that forced the Spaniards to fight their way out of the city. This moment of disaster came to be known as La Noche Triste, the Night of Sorrows. Cortés and his forces narrowly escaped, losing many of their men and allies in the process. Yet it was not the end, it was a turning point. After regrouping, Cortés planned a counterattack on Tenochtitlan. With the support of his indigenous allies, he began a brutal siege that would last several months. The Spanish cut off the city's causeways and rebuilt boats to blockade supplies coming across the lake. Simultaneously, an invisible enemy struck. Smallpox, introduced by the Europeans, spread like wildfire through Tenochtitlan. The disease ravaged the densely populated city, killing tens of thousands, including Moctezuma's successor, Cuitlahuac. With its leadership destabilized and population decimated, the Aztec Empire faced a 2-pronged assault, both military and biological. In 1521, after weeks of intense fighting and bombardment, the final assault on Tenochtitlan began. The city that had once been the jewel of Mesoamerica lay in ruins by the time the Aztecs surrendered in August of that year. The surviving citizens were enslaved or displaced, and their culture suffered a devastating blow. The destruction of Tenochtitlan marked more than the fall of a single city or empire. It signaled the beginning of centuries of Spanish colonization in the Americas, which would reshape the continent and its people forever. Under Spanish rule, the Aztec identity was systematically erased. The great temples of Tenochtitlan were demolished, and Catholic cathedrals were built in their place. Codices containing Aztec knowledge and history were destroyed, leaving holes in our understanding of this once mighty civilization. Yet, the Aztecs' resilience lives on in the cultural and spiritual traditions of indigenous peoples in Mexico today. Their influence can be seen in the foundations of modern Mexico City, built on the remnants of Tenochtitlan, and in the reverence for Mesoamerican culture that persists. The fall of the Aztec Empire is a story of ambition and survival, one that reveals humanity's capacity for both triumph and tragedy. For Hernán Cortés and his Spanish forces, it was a hard-fought conquest that altered the course of global history. For the Aztec people, it was the tragic collapse of an enduring civilization. As we reflect on this monumental event, we are reminded of the enduring legacies of both indigenous and colonial histories. Their intersection continues to shape the Americas today, offering lessons on the complexities of cultural encounters, the costs of conquest, and the enduring strength of human civilization. Thank you for joining us on this journey through history. Be sure to like, subscribe, and let us know in the comments which historical event you'd like us to cover next. Until next time, stay curious.